2017 is getting off to a pretty rocky start for the royal family. For more, we are joined by our royal correspondent, Neil Sean, in London. Neil, a very good morning to you.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Yes. Happy New Year. Let's start out with the Queen. She's missed a few important engagements lately. Is she okay?
Well, I know everybody's really concerned about our glorious Majesty the Queen. Of course, you know, the Queen has got robust health. She's never ill, particularly in public, obviously. And this started about a week, 10 days ago, because, first of all, she did make the pre-arranged travel arrangements to go to Sandringham. Then, of course, she missed the Christmas Day service. And now today she's missed the New Year's service. But, according to Princess Anne, the Queen's feeling much better. What you have to remember is she's got, apparently, a very heavy cold. This has actually lingered far longer. But let's not forget, ladies and gents, that this is a 90-year-old lady who's done so much and carried on working quite a lot. And apparently, you know, even when she didn't feel well way back in November, she said, look, I'm fine, I can keep going, because she knew she was going to get a break. So everybody's just wishing her a speedy recovery.
Oh, we just love the Queen. She's fabulous. But she's always said that she'll never abdicate. What happens if she does get too ill to actually do all her duties?
Well, it's a brilliant question, actually, that, because a lot of people speculate that. This is what happens. It's royal protocol. If she's too ill to make, obviously, very important decisions, then that goes to Prince Charles. But this happened, say, before, way back when it was Queen Victoria and Prince Edward. Prince Edward did a lot of the work as the Queen became more and more ill. But we're not at that stage yet. But obviously, Prince Charles would be ready to take over. He's been fully groomed, of course, for the role for the last 60-odd years, I should imagine.
And Neil, she's in robust health. We know that, not being morbid, but what happens if she, say, passes away?
Oh, Jonesy, don't kill her off.
What plans are there? What you know?
Well, it's inevitable for anyone, of course, and, you know, the problem is that everything is put in place. This is why the royal family is such a well-oiled machine. It's terrible. Can you imagine if you're the Queen sat at home and people are discussing this? It must be awful. You don't feel well and then you don't feel great after this. But what happens is simply this. Sadly, the moment the Queen passes away, Prince Charles becomes King Charles straight away. And then, of course, there's the protocol of what the setup is after that. And it's all very sad, very morbid. We hope and we pray that the Queen's going to be robust for many more years to come.
Yes, we do. Now, Neil, there's been some terrible news about the Queen's granddaughter, Zara. Tell us.
Yeah, I mean, a really sad royal story, actually, because Zara, of course, is the daughter of HRH Princess Anne, and she's married to ex-rugby player Mike Tindall. They announced just before Christmas they were expecting their second child. Sadly, that's now not to be. And they already have a daughter called Mia. But apparently, according to my good sources, Princess Anne has been a great help, naturally, to her daughter. You know, they're a very strong Bond family. But it's a terrible time for anyone, not just if you're obviously of the royal family, but I think for Zara, the fact that they'd gone public, done a big feature in a celebrity magazine as well, because remember, she's not on the civil list, so that basically means that she makes her own money. So naturally, you know, with the Queen's blessing, she was able to go out there and make this public. So it makes it a harder story to bear for everyone, actually.
Now, Neil, let's talk about Wills and Kate. What's all this talk about them shirking their royal duties?
Well, I'm sure you've heard the phrase bone idol. Well, they're being called throne idol over here. That's because, of course, it's not going down really well for Will and Kate, because they've done not too many engagements. Kate's done 148 and William's done 188. It's not great. And when you consider that the Queen's done over 300 and Prince Philip's nearly matched her rate too, and these are, you know, 50+ years more, a lot of people are getting a bit fed up with the fact that, as they're saying, that William and Kate are not doing enough to represent their country. You know, Prince Harry, I've got to tell you, though, hasn't done as much as you'd imagine. He's only done 152 royal engagements. So he's obviously way busy chasing Meghan Markle across America, trying to make the Suits actress love him. But I think it's going to get, you're going to get a bit of a backlash about that. And we're going to see, I think, William step up a little bit more. As you rightly said, you know, the Queen, we must just point out as well, just last year, year decided to remove herself from many charities. So that's a big indication that she is cutting down on her workload, and I think it's now time for Kate and William to step forward and take on some of those royal duties.
Well, they've certainly done wonders for the palace's PR, that is for sure. Neil Sean in London, thank you very much for joining us. We do appreciate it.
Pleasure. Happy New Year.